Hello. Well, guys, I think I'll have to repeat everything I said before because my mic was not on. Yeah, these things happen. So I'm just going to quickly restate what I was talking about while we wait for the NASA launch to get started. Our priority today is to watch this historic event. And I'm going to repeat what I had spoken to you before. I'll try to recollect what I had mentioned. I think when it comes to the stock market today, I'm not going to do much of a technical analysis. The futures are all looking red. However, Bluebird is still showing strength. Bluebird Bio is still showing strength thanks to the Zynteglo approval. And also remember, potentially Eli Cell is likely to be approved somewhere mid-September. So that's again keeping the stock strong pre-market. I think there was no need for Fed Chairman Powell to make the super hawkish statements that he did, given that the Fed is already tightening liquidity by reducing mortgage-backed security purchase as well as the bond purchases. That itself is going to have a big deal of impact on the inflation situation, as well as the Fed has already primed the market for 50 basis point hikes going forward at the least. So his remarks, I personally feel, were uncalled for. And meanwhile, if you look at the global economy is in a difficult situation, and any talk of increasing interest rates more will strengthen the dollar and stifle exports as well as ruin the stock markets. At least that's my personal opinion, because when the Fed talks about increasing interest rate, the US dollar index will become stronger and it will suck out the liquidity from stock market, commodity markets in other places. So that's what I think. And now looking at the brighter news, like Europe is very close to meeting its targets for 90% gas reserves, and that could take the heat off the energy market in the coming fortnight. Chinese companies have now a slightly less risk in their profile because, especially in the American stock market, because of the audit agreement between China Security Regulatory Commission and the US Public Accounting Oversight Board. So I expect this to benefit companies like Neo, Alibaba, Xpeng, those kind of companies. And now coming back to a risk that we do not talk too much because we want to be focused on business is the political risk in the US. Political risk to the market is ramping up as Trump and his associates continue to attack institutions. And there's a lot of dissatisfaction from legal experts who think that the Florida judge may tip the scale in favor of Trump by indicating that she is inclined to ask for a special master even before hearing response from the Department of Justice. And also the release of affidavit for a subpoena is unknown so far, so it's an exception that has been made. Also, we had Senator Lindsey Graham on TV saying that there will be riots if Trump is prosecuted for the document haul. So all of this looks a bit ugly for the market. So guys, please keep that in mind, especially because we are in the genomic sectors, which is a startup sector, and there is already a high risk situation for this sector. If there is political uncertainty and political risk, then the sector is likely to be feeling the impact much harder than the others. So having said that, I do not plan to do technical analysis today as much as it is a launch day for Artemis, as you can see in this on the screen that we are waiting for NASA to get started. But given that it's not yet up, let me try and go to the TradingView platform and get started with a little bit of technical analysis. And if we start hearing any commentary from NASA, I'll keep the audio on the background while we go to the TradingView platform. If we hear any audio from there, we'll switch over immediately to the NASA live stream. So friends, here we are with the TradingView platform, and I'm just going to quickly the TradingView platform chat window, and just going to pop out the chat window so that I can see what is happening here. We have the NASDAQ futures out here, and when I look at the NASDAQ futures, I can see that we are already below the diagonal line of support that we had before from the earlier bull channel, and we have started falling down. And I think our next line of support is most likely to be somewhere out here. This is likely to be the next line of support, and I think it is sitting somewhere around 12,168. We have a very weak MACD, and also the momentum is low. So futures are looking terrible. With it has dropped 1.14% for Nasdaq futures, and if we go and look at our indicators, and oil prices have gone up. I don't understand why the oil price is still going up, because there is demand destruction all over. However, one of the things that I can note is that the double bottom that we had has been effectively checked by the resistance out here at 95.08 and the 200-day exponential moving average, which was sitting at 95.18. So I think we still might see oil dipping back again later on during the day. QQQ is down 4.10% as of Friday, and today it's down another 1.22% pre-market, and it's straddling the support of 306.53. Right now we are at 303.69 pre-market, which means we are already fallen below 306.53. So our next level of support is going to be this diagonal line out here, diagonal green line, which was a bull channel that we had drawn earlier, which had multiple touch points out here. So I'm thinking that today the very low that we might face is going to be somewhere around 302.25, and if we fall down below that, then our next level of support is going to be this green line out here, this horizontal green line, and that's going to take us to somewhere around 296.90. So these are the 2 points that I can talk about, because all the exponential moving averages have been broken through, so they have all become resistance. So the support is only going to come from historic support that we have from horizontal lines that have held up support in the past. That said, let us go and have a look at S&P 500, which has dropped 0.98% pre-market, and it's now at 401.33, whereas we have a support as 401.19, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to break down below this support as soon as the market opens. So our next level of support is going to be, I'll just extend this green line out here, horizontal green line. So we have got one support here at around 390.88, and the next support here at around 389.72, and the support after that at 388.84. So these are the three lines I have here. And also we could potentially have some support out at this level out here, and it's going to be at 395.84. So let us look for support at 395.84 and then take it from there. The MACD is bearish and the momentum is also below average. As far as IWM is concerned, it's already down 1.09%. It has broken below the 100-day and the 50-day exponential moving average. So the next support that it has is at 183.72. And our MACD is bearish and the momentum is also below average, so it's going to fall further. Dow Jones Industrial Average is down minus 0.83%, and our next line of support was going to be this diagonal line of support, but it seems that we are already at it even before the market opens, and therefore I think there is a good chance that we might fall down further. I could see another level of support out here, which is going to be at 316.20. That's what I think will be the bottom line for today. And let me switch off my mobile phone out here. Let me pause for a second. I'll be back to you in a minute, guys. So yeah, coming back to where we were, Dow Jones Industrial Average is but it's time to go down today. And when we look at the VIX is at very, very elevated levels that we haven't seen in the last fortnight. It's at 27.20. It's above 27.20, which was our line of resistance. So I'm going to mark this as a support. So indeed, the opening is looking very bad. What will happen after the market opens?
Launch control at T-minus 40 minutes and
we
holding.
Can hear the NASA
I just spoke with
LiveStream,
Launch
so
Director Charlie Blackwell Thompson,
LiveStream,
who said that her team is still working on a troubleshooting plan for engine number 3 that had the issue with the engine bleed. She's still waiting for more information about that. Engineers are still discussing it and going over some modeling and data. And once they have that ready, they're going to come back to her and have a discussion. And so she says that she's awaiting that. And we are standing by. Again, at T-minus 40 minutes. We'll have more information when we get it.
Well, guys, there seems to be a bit of a hiccup at my side. Let me quickly get us back into our TradingView platform. Just please hold on, please bear with me. Yes, the screen is back again. So a little bit of technical problems out here for me. Let's go back to our TradingView platform. We'll connect again, and I'm going to switch this off here and come back to the TradingView platform. And yeah, let's continue where we left off. And yeah, so VIX, as I said, is already past our resistance that we had at 27.27. So now that has become a support, and we have plenty of room for VIX to go up further during the day. Put call ratio is slightly bearish at this point of time, and the US dollar index, as I anticipated, is spurting. It's trying to break above this resistance of 13,122, which was its high before it started coming down. We have the potential that we may cross that today, thanks to the hawkish statements from Jerome Powell. And if that happens, that's again a bearish factor for the stock market. Let us look at the index mover stocks as we usually do. If I look at Amazon out here, Amazon is down minus 1.41%. And friends, as I've been pointing out, there's a huge gap out here which has to be filled. So I think today Amazon might have the opportunity to fill at least half of this. Because overall trends are very bearish, and the MACD is also bearish out here, and the momentum is very weak for Amazon. If you look at Google is again down 1.03%, and our supports are there before we come to this green line here at 105.06. There are some interim supports, but we are already down 1.03%. Suffice to say that Google is also going to drag the index down. Apple is down 1.36%. It has supports from the 50-day exponential moving average, 100-day, and the 200-day exponential moving average. This is one of the strongest charts. It's really sad to see Apple go bearish on the MACD as well as fall in the momentum to below average. All bad indicators. If you look at Microsoft, again, another solid stock, it's down minus 0.98%, and it has broken down below all the exponential moving average. So the next support that it's going to have, in my opinion, is going to be somewhere out here. At around 259.95, that's the most likely support level that we may encounter. And let's go on and have a look at cryptocurrency markets. Of course, Bitcoin is very weak, and it's fallen below our support level of 20,233. So I'm going to mark this as a resistance. We have fallen to the sub 2,000 levels for the first time after a long while. And there are some people who would like to buy at this stage and dollar cost average. And if I ask to look at Coinbase, again, it's down. And both of these are going to follow the cues from NASDAQ, and NASDAQ is down. So that's what is happening here. And also you can see that wheat has also fallen sharply, minus 1.55 as we look at the commodities. This is a good sign for the inflation. And copper is also down. I think that I would watch copper carefully. I have this level of 3.22 below which I would think that it is going to be recessionary. So at this point of time, I'm not too much worried about copper. Let's go on to genomics, which is our staple out here in this channel. I'm just going to sort the watch list to get the biggest loser on the top. It was PACB. And my philosophy when it comes to genomics, as I observed this market so far, is that there's a this seesaw effect. The shares that are heavily losing on a given day turn out to lose less or gain more on the next day. So I think we just have to invert this, and this is what the market is going to look like. Novartis, IMTX, and Bluebird, these are all the companies that are going to be positive as the market opens, or they will be the least negative if the market continues to go down, because they are the ones which are performing better in terms of what had happened the previous day. Let me rephrase the whole thing. Like PACB, Teladoc, Beam, these are the companies which are less likely to do worse today. And if I go the other way around, these are the companies that are likely to do much worse today. And Bluebird, which was showing a bit of green pre-market, has now dipped into the red. So whatever I said about Bluebird, I can change that at this point of time, because pre-market, everybody seems to be having the jitters. So everything is red. Now, I think, friends, I would like to go back and have a look at the NASA launch. Let us stay here on the NASA page, because there is no point doing any technical analysis today. It's going to be a moot point. So I'll stop my commentary. There's going to be a blank screen today as we watch the NASA launch coming up. And yeah, that's about it. I'm going to wait. Let me check the chat window and see if I can find anyone who has joined, and have a general discussion about what's happening with I seem to have a bit of spotty transmission because it keeps coming and going. I hope to fix that. Hi, Cindy, thanks. I'm just going to fix the spotty connection I have here. Please bear with me. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep the setting where it is so that we can continue to see the launch. This is a very historic event, and I have been looking forward to this for a long time. But just to share my thoughts about this rocket, like, I think we have been spoiled by SpaceX and Blue Origin and all these guys who are taking space to the next level and taking rockets to the next level. Recently, I had done a feature on spin launch, introducing it to our genomics community, because again, it's really good for secularizing space, especially for people with smaller budgets. So they are aiming to deliver satellites at $2,000 a kilo, and they have a lot of technology that they are willing to offer, which could make really hardened satellites that can use the spin launch system, which has high Gs. It spins the satellite at really high gravity levels, and yeah, Cindy, the rocket. This rocket is not supposed to land on the moon. It's my understanding that this rocket is going to be the test. So it's going to be an unmanned capsule which will go around the moon and come back in around 42 days. And with the data that we have on this, we'll have a manned launch later on. That's my understanding. Basically, the Artemis 1 is a test flight. They're just going to collect crucial data, and then they will launch a manned mission. So this capsule is going to be away from Earth for around 42 days after launch, and it will come back. So it has got a very interesting trajectory, and yeah. So whenever I move away from this screen, it seems that I lose the NASA signal. So I'm going to stay on the screen. No, we are not launching. We are not launching rockets to blow up the moon. As funny as always. No, the thing is, the way I understand this mission is that it's going to send this capsule. First, the capsule is going to go closer to the moon, orbit closer to it, and then it will be a semi-slingshotted to a wider orbit, and then it will come back to Earth. So there are rockets on board the capsule, which will fire on two occasions. One occasion is to take it into a longer orbit around the moon, and the second occasion is when it will fire it to point the capsule towards a destination, Earth. So those are the 2 points when the capsule rockets will fire within the capsule. There are some propulsion units in there, and those propulsion units will be activated from time to time in order to keep it in the planned orbit, the long orbit around the moon as well as the short orbit around the moon, so that the mission is successful. So that's what they are planning to do. And now I have been studying this rocket and looked at various experts and everything, and the opinion I have formed is that this is a Frankenstein rocket because we have let me briefly explain, if you guys have not been following this this rocket. So you see this orange part in between. So you see the first band out here, the very first band from the bottom. So let us get back. Let us wait until we get back into the original picture that we had, and I'll give you a quick primer about what this rocket is made of, and that will help you when the launch actually takes place. It'll show. You'll be able to understand what the commentator is saying at that point of time. So I'm just going to wait a little bit until we get into the other camera view where the entire rocket is shown. So while we wait for that, let me continue describing so that it's easier when the viewpoint changes. So as you guys can see, there is this orange color, orange brownish kind of component of this rocket, which is below the white top of the rocket. Now that component is around 100 meters tall, I believe, 133 meters tall. So it consists of a very long portion, which is going to have liquid hydrogen. And then above that, there is another portion of the orange-brown canister, which is going to have liquid oxygen. And above that, you have the other stage. And further above that is the container, which has the capsule and the propulsion unit for propulsion in space. So the top container is going to protect the capsule from all the friction and the heat and everything as the rocket launches upward. And on the side, you see two strap-on rockets, and those two rockets are going to boost this entire structure, this entire rocket these are the booster rockets to the main rocket, and they will help the rocket defy the gravity and face the resistance from the atmosphere in order to take it above the atmosphere. Sure, Inf, go ahead. Go ahead. So now we are back into the side view. So guys, you can see this white booster rocket, which has got NASA written on it. I hope you can see my cursor. The ones which has NASA written. These are booster rockets. They will take the rocket to a particular level and then fall off from the main rocket. And in this brown rocket, you can find that there would be a band out here. That band shows the level up to which there is liquid hydrogen, and above that there is another band which shows the liquid oxygen. And then you have the payload. This payload consists of one stage, and then another stage and a capsule, and these will all be active once we are out of the atmosphere and into space. So that's the overall structure. And the reason we called it the Frankenstein rocket is because at the very bottom, just behind this booster rocket, you will see a wide white color section out there. That section contains four engines, and those four engines are from the space shuttle. So those are the old engines. They are proven, they are tested, and yes, the launch should go perfectly. I think that I think this has to succeed. This has to succeed, or else it's going to set back space big time, because NASA needs this success, and getting more money into this in Congress is going to be very difficult in this anti-science environment. So this has to succeed. It has
This
to
is
generate
Artemis
a lot of
Launch Control with an update. Launch Director Charlie Blackwell-Thompson has called a scrub for today. Again, Launch Director Charlie Blackwell-Thompson has called a scrub of the attempt of launch of Artemis 1 and the Space Launch System with the Orion spacecraft. The issue that came up was an engine bleed that couldn't be remedied, but the rocket is currently in a stable configuration. It was mostly tanked, but not completely tanked. Engineers are now working on a plan to continue gathering data about this particular engine and the bleed that didn't work out. The rocket, the hydrogen bleed rather, was a goal of the previous wet dress rehearsal that didn't happen due to a hydrogen leak. So engineers are focused on gathering as much data as they can at this time. So they have not gone to draining the rocket just yet. They're going to keep it in its current configuration and gather that data. To summarize, we held at T-minus 40 minutes and counting after the team was unable to get past engine bleed that didn't show the right temperature once they got into the engine bleed test. And ultimately, the launch director has called a scrub for the day. The earliest opportunity, depending on what happens with this engine bleed, would be September 2nd. That is available to the launch team. However, we will await a determination of what the plan is to go forward to remedy the engine bleed and then go from there. Again, an availability to launch, the next availability to launch is 12:48 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday, September 2nd. But we must wait to see what shakes out from their test data that they're currently gathering now, and the decision that's made by the launch team about where to go from here. We appreciate you watching NASA TV and our coverage of the Artemis 1 launch attempt. This is Daryl Nail with NASA Communications signing off from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Thank you.
Oh. Oh God. Yeah. Anyway, they are being a bit they are being careful, and that's a good thing. Uh, yeah, Cindy. I think it's for the better. I think if they fix everything, there is a greater chance of success, and success is very essential for this particular mission, in my opinion, because NASA needs funds and it needs to do all those. Space activities which are not commercially attractive but are scientifically necessary for us to make further progress in space, which private sector would not do because it's not commercially remunerative. And for that, NASA needs to have success, and there should be public demand for those things. Otherwise, in the Congress, they won't get money. They already have a tough time getting money. I think they have been careful in managing the risks. So with this, I think I'll get back into our technical analysis. It's only 8:39. Let us do a little bit of interactive technical analysis today, since we have at least Cindy and Inf out here. So let me get out of this particular screen. You might see something else for a minute out here. So I'm going to switch this off and go into... Okay, so here we are. Let me see who is all online. How many people do we have here? We got just a couple of people here. That's fine. For every person here in this channel, I'm going to do a proper technical analysis. So let's go on to Novartis first. I think Novartis is looking pretty weak, and it's likely to probably bounce around 82.48, and potentially it could break down below that. But I can see that pre-market we are already up 0.77, and it had taken a beating yesterday, so it looks okay. IMTX is down minus 0.96 as of Friday, and today it's up 0.65. We have a MACD which is tending towards the signal line, and the momentum is above average, so I will still hold up some hopes for IMTX to do better. Regeneron is down minus 0.53. Momentum is below average, and MACD is also bearish. So I think we are going to bounce off this support at 592.54. And if the overall market continues to be weak, then we might potentially have a possibility of falling below 592.54, in which case our next level of support is 587.42. Pfizer, I think I'll avoid Pfizer and Vertex. Let's go on to Bluebird. Bluebird is down minus 1.69. I think Bluebird is still a great stock. I'm personally going to dollar cost average on this. This is not financial advice. This is just my personal opinion. I'll be investing a little bit more on Bluebird because I'm looking forward to Elicel in September, and Zynteglo already is approved, so it has got the lead. MACD is bearish, but momentum is still above average, so I think that somewhere close to average we might have the possibility of turning back up again, because we are already on the 29th of August. September 15th is not too far. And let's go to SQZ. SQZ Biotech is very weak. The chart is also very weak, and we are down to 3.07. We have a support as 3.02. And again, here I'll be doing a bit of dollar cost averaging around 3.02. Actually, I have already taken profit on my holding of SQZ, so I'm going to re-enter SQZ at 3.02 as I did earlier. And let us look at Verve. Verve is down minus 0.31 pre-market, and we have a support out here at 37.93, failing which our next support is going to be the 9-day exponential moving average at 37.13. So those will hold because we had been a bit overbought with regard to Verve. That's why we have cooled off, and the overall market sentiment is negative today. So there'll be a bit of giving off, but I think our support at 37.88 should definitely hold strong. DNA is down 3.96% pre-market, and it's hurtling towards the support at 2.68. Again, in my opinion, there's a good opportunity to buy at 2.68 with the hopes of selling close to 3.10. So there's a swing trading possibility out there. Illumina is down 0.67%, and our momentum is weak, and the MACD is also bearish. And we have support out here, which is at 197.10. I'm going to mark this green. We haven't touched this chart in a while. So this is our next support. And if we look at ARCG, ARCG is fallen below the support of which was at 36.91. Therefore, it's a resistance now, and it's currently at 36.58. Pre-market, there are no trades, and we have this diagonal line of support here from the earlier bullish Bennett that we had. That's going to be our next level of support, and that would potentially sit at around 31.92. And another area of support that I can visualize is somewhere out here, which would be 35.44. So that could be our next support for today. And CRISPR Therapeutics is down 1.14% pre-market. Momentum and MACD both are looking absolutely bearish. And we have a support here, which is at 66.36, which is going to be the first level of defense for us. And failing which, our next level of support is going to be 61.83. Now, let's look at Intelia. Intelia is down 2.71% today. And if we were to look at the chart out here, this 56.47, which was a support earlier and converted into resistance, has got to be a support for us today. I'm going to convert this into green. This is where we are going to come and stop. And our next level of support is going to be at 49.42. Let's look at Teladoc, which is down 2.40% today. I can see Teladoc bouncing between these two levels. One is the support at 28.04, and the other is the resistance, which is going to be at 36.56. So it's going to bounce between these two, so that is, it can fall further. Editas is down 3.84% pre-market, and I think that was a level of support that was available, and we are bouncing out there. So this is one support, and we're going to fall below that, and the next support for us is going to be 13.14. MACD is bearish, and the momentum is also very weak. So that's what it looks like for Editas. Caribou Biosciences has got no trades pre-market, and it has got a support out here at 10.04. I'm going to mark this green. So that is the first level of support. Second level of support is the 20-day exponential moving average, which is the orange line, which is sitting at 9.69. It is this orange line out here. So that's what I'm looking at. MACD is still bullish, but tending towards the signal line. But momentum is pretty strong, and it's above average, even though it's pointed down. So I think Caribou Biosciences could have a bit of a respite. It may drop much less today, and potentially there is a chance of it turning a little green by the end of the day. Invitae is down 3.80% pre-market, and our next level of support is going to be 2.15. Right now we are at 3.07, and let's go on to Beam. Beam Therapeutics is down 3.13% pre-market. Our next support was this 100-day exponential moving average sitting at 54.48. We are already at 54.50, so it's a given that we are going to fall below the 100-day exponential moving average. So our next level of support is going to be 53.44. I'm going to mark this green out here. And we have got Allogene next. No trades pre-market, and Allogene is poised exactly at this bull channel support. And if I look at the MACD, it is bearish and momentum is below average. So I'm afraid that we are going to break down below this bear channel. We're going to get out of the bear channel, and our 200-day exponential moving average sitting at 13.35 and our 50-day exponential moving average sitting at 13.51 are going to be very, very strong support for us today for Allogene. And PCB, Pacific Biosciences, is down minus 1.84% pre-market, and it's likely to fall further. And the support is going to be at 5.03, which has been a support for us before. And that's what I'm expecting for PCB. I'm going to quickly look at the chat window to see if there are any questions. If there are any questions, I would like to field them right now. If not, I would be looking at signing off. So guys, if you have any questions, please ask them now. I'm going to hold on for a few minutes. If there is any specific share that you want me to look at, I can do that right now. So let us see the chat window. Okay, so guys, have a great morning. If you don't have anything to ask, I know that there's a slight lag between when I speak and when you hear. So I'm going to be silent for a few minutes. If there is no questions or anything out there, then I'll wind up this this session. Okay, guys, then it's bye from me. I'll catch up with you later. Have a wonderful day, and all the best to NASA for the next attempt in September.